In a previous lesson of our course for beginners, John shared a bit about his family members, la sobrina, sus tíos, sus padres. And today we're going to focus in a bit more detail into the vocabulary related to family members. Hola, bienvenidos a Key Spanish. Soy Alejandro, and let's get started with the contents of today's lesson, which is the fifth one of Unit 2, where our goal is to be able to introduce your best friend and describe his or her personality and appearance. If you haven't watched the previous lessons in the unit, make sure to access the playlist. You will find the links in the description where we have all of the lessons in order for you to follow along. And today we're going to talk, again, as I said, about family members, and also we're going to introduce some cultural facts about the family structure in Spain and talk a bit about the divorce rates and some interesting information. The way we're going to introduce you to the vocabulary is a bit different from other videos or the channels where they just give you the word in English, father, padre, and the words in Spanish. No, we're going to do things differently. We're going to focus today on a lot of listening. Going to start with one listening activity where your only goal is to first give me the names we are missing in this family tree. This family tree is the one from Edu, the guy in the center. Yo is I. Yo, Edu is the one talking in the audio. If you remember, this guy is one of Sergio's neighbors. Edu Peña, I think was the last name, that plays the piano. And he's going to describe his family. I want you to just focus on giving me the information at hand, just the names we are missing. Don't focus on understanding everything. You haven't been introduced to the vocabulary yet. But I'm sure you understand enough to just give me these names. Okay? So let's have a listen to this audio and tell me the name of la abuela, el abuelo, el padre, el hermano pequeño y el sobrino.
En mi familia somos mis padres y mis dos hermanos.
¿Cómo se llaman tus padres?
Mi padre se llama Jacinto y mi madre Violeta.
Ah, ¿y tus dos hermanos?
Mi hermano mayor se llama Carlos.
¿Y el otro?
Mi hermano pequeño se llama Alberto. También están mis abuelos, María y Rafael.
María y Rafael. ¿Pero tus abuelos por parte de quién?
Son mis abuelos maternos, los padres de mi madre.
Ah, ¿y por parte de tu padre?
Mis abuelos paternos son Purificación y Gregorio.
¿Y tienes tíos?
Sí, tengo a mi tío Luis, que es el hermano de mi padre, y su mujer, mi tía Carla.
Ah, Carla.
Sí, y también tengo un sobrino, Raúl.
¿Que es el hijo de quién?
De Carlos, mi hermano mayor.
Feel free to rewind or play the audio again if you need to. We put chapters in all of our videos that will indicate you the starting point of the audio, so you can easily go back, okay? But now let's give you the answer. The names we were missing son María, mi abuela María, mi padre Jacinto, mi abuelo Gregorio, mi hermano pequeño Alberto y mi sobrino Raúl. Remember, don't try to understand everything you heard. You just focus on a small task. And that's one of the best strategies when working on listening comprehension, especially as a beginner. When you listen to an audio of something, just try to start getting a basic information or the overall idea or something specific. If you try to understand everything, you will get overwhelmed. And now, in the pursuit of a deeper understanding of the audio, we're going to do a second listen. We still are not introducing you to the vocabulary of family. Again, I want you to first listen and try to infer things and complete the activity, and then we will introduce the vocabulary, okay? So to the left, you have some words that are describing family relationships. Padres, tío, padre, sobrino, madre, abuelos paternos, hermano pequeño. I'm sure you know some of these words. If you don't, well, don't worry. You can still complete the activity. I just want you to understand enough to do that. Let's listen again to the same audio and complete the missing parts of the dialogue.
En mi familia somos mis padres y mis dos hermanos.
¿Cómo se llaman tus padres?
Mi padre se llama Jacinto y mi madre Violeta.
Ah, ¿y tus dos hermanos?
Mi hermano mayor se llama Carlos.
¿Y el otro?
Mi hermano pequeño se llama Alberto. También están mis abuelos, María y Rafael.
María y Rafael. ¿Pero tus abuelos por parte de quién?
Son mis abuelos maternos, los padres de mi madre.
Ah, ¿y por parte de tu padre?
Mis abuelos paternos son Purificación y Gregorio.
¿Y tienes tíos?
Sí, tengo a mi tío Luis, que es el hermano de mi padre, y su mujer, mi tía Carla.
Ah, Carla.
Sí, y también tengo un sobrino, Raúl,
¿Qué es el hijo de quién?
de Carlos, mi hermano mayor.
Once again, feel free to rewind and listen again to the audio if you need to. But now let's show you the answers. Let's complete the dialogue. He says, mi padre se llama Jacinto y mi madre Violeta. Mi hermano pequeño se llama Alberto. Los padres de mi madre, ¿no? Tus abuelos por parte de quién? This means, but your grandparents on which side? Well, mis abuelos maternos on my mother's side. The parents of my mother. Then mis abuelos paternos son Purificación y Gregorio. My grandparents on the father's side are Purificación and Gregorio. Then tengo a mi tío Luis y tengo un sobrino. I have a nephew, Raúl. Okay. Now, I am still not going to introduce you to the vocabulary directly. We are seeing it indirectly through an audio activity. And now we're going to do another kind of activity. You can see highlighted the relationships we are looking for in the tree. So in this case, mi abuelo Rafael, mi abuela María. And I want to describe the relationship between them. One more time, you don't need to know this vocabulary. You probably don't. You have not been introduced to it yet. But maybe you do. And if you don't, when you are introduced to it, you learn it better. Okay? You reinforce the knowledge much, much better. So that's what we're going to do. María es la de Rafael. So María is Rafael what? Es la mujer de Rafael. Or in Latin America, they would say la esposa. Jacinto es el de Violeta. Let's focus on the highlighted people to see the relationships between them. Pause the video, you need more time. Jacinto es el marido de Violeta o el esposo en Latin America. Violeta es la de Raúl. What's the relationship between Raúl and Violeta? Bueno, Violeta es la abuela de Raúl. Y Alberto es el de Purificación. What's Alberto in relationship to Purificación? Is the grandson, which is el nieto. Raúl es el de Patricia y Carlos. What's the relationship there? ¿Cuál es la relación? Bueno, es el hijo. Raúl es el hijo de Patricia y Carlos. Y Rafael es el abuelo de Carlos. Y Silvia es la nieta de Gregorio. Okay? So we have more words here. Mujer, marido, abuela, nieto, hijo, abuelo y nieta. And now it is the time for me to introduce you directly to the vocabulary around family members. And we are going to do that through our lesson notes. By now, I'm sure you know that all of the lessons in this beginner series on YouTube have notes that include the slides of the lessons that you can hear, that you can see here and review, as well as relevant vocabulary when needed. And this is what we're going to take a quick look at to learn the vocabulary for family members. We saw madre and padre, mother and father, el marido o el esposo, depending. In Spain, marido y mujer. In Latin America, esposo, esposa, is husband and wife. Then you have los abuelos, the grandparents, el abuelo, grandfather, la abuela, grandmother, and el tío y la tía. We learned that too in previous lesson with John. Tío, tía, uncle, aunt. And el primo y la prima, cousins. Then hermano, hermana. And then you have here a list that is more advanced. Hermano menor, hermano pequeño, hermano mayor, your younger brother, older brother, and more again, not as common vocabulary. If you are just starting out as a beginner, I may recommend just focusing on the more basic one, the abuelo, abuela, padres, hijos, and hermanos, etc. Cuñado, cuñada, yerno, nuera, this son-in-law, daughter-in-law, brother-in-law is a bit more advanced, but you can also take a look if you need to. And then you have los hijos, el hijo y la hija. As with menor and mayor, you can say el hijo, mi hijo menor, mi hijo mayor, my older son, my younger son, too. And nieto, nieta, grandson, granddaughter. And again, more advanced vocabulary, hermanastro, hermanastra for step sister, step brother. Just a recommendation, focus on the vocabulary you need the most, not all of it. And with these lesson notes, you also have access to the audio you just heard with the transcription. These notes are, of course, completely free, and you get access to them with the link in the description of the videos. And now let me introduce you to a bit more of vocabulary around family. And that's something we briefly touched on when describing Sergio's neighbors. We saw some of them were viudas or solteras. So let's focus on that a bit more, because this is vocabulary related to el estado civil, which is marital status. So you can be soltero, single, o soltera, casado o casada, to be married, casado o casada, viudo o viuda, to be a widow. You can be separado o separada, separated, o divorciado, divorced. And talking about divorce, we're going to now go into more details into some statistics around family structure in Spain. But I'm going to do that in Spanish, again, to give you one more chance to practice your listening comprehension. Lots of it in this lesson. But before doing that, I have a recommendation to make the most of this activity. As part of our Spanish Beginner Kit, a set of resources to get you started on the right foot with Spanish, we have lots of them, like for learning vocabulary, spreadsheet with the most frequent words, a list of cognates, flashcard recommendations, book recommendations to read, some grammar resources, and many more things. At the bottom, in other tools, you have Language Reactor. This is an amazing website, it's a browser extension that will give you superpowers for listening comprehension. I'm not going to go into detail of setting it up or the settings and how it works, but if you want me to do that, I can make a video just about it because it's pretty useful and it's a great extension. But you have also the website where they explain everything you need to know. What we are going to do is to see it in action. And we're going to see it in action with one of our own videos. And the reason is because we have subtitles, captions in both English and Spanish, and they are human-made, right? These are not machine-generated. We go to great lengths in our long videos to subtitle everything. It takes lots of time, but it's worth it. And we're going to take a look at how this app works. So normally on YouTube, you can just listen to something. Let's give it a try here. Especial para mí es Palma de Mallorca. So in one of the very first lessons of this course, I give you a listening activity with the option of having Spanish subtitles to listen to. But with language transfer, you can turn it on here once you have downloaded the browser extension. And in the settings, just one quick mention, I will recommend selecting English as your mother tongue and Spanish as the subtitles on YouTube. And here in Ocultar Subtítulos, it's hide subtitles. You hide the translation, okay? And you click on show human translation. Right? So with these settings now, you will see this. So you will play the audio. Yo he nacido en esta ciudad. One second. Okay. Palma es so you are hearing the audio. Es una ciudad fantástica. With the Spanish subtitles, and the translation is hidden. And when you need to reference the translation, which again, I would not recommend to start with it, just focus on the Spanish. And if you need a translation, then you just can hover over the text like this, like so. Or if it's better, just press the E key.
Es muy buena.
So I'm
gran
listening,
parte del
then
año.
I press A
Las playas son.
and it shows.
en-
Okay, so I can see the translation just when I need to. The second thing that is useful, and you may have noticed, is on the right, you have the full transcript of the video. And you can go to a particular part by clicking on it.
Pues Los Serrano.
And it
lo
moves
que
along the video, and
Palma
you can
es
see
pre-
at any point what is it. One other thing we do with this in mind at Key Spanish in our videos is to use one line subtitles, so this is more comfortable to use. Most videos will have 2 lines, and with 2 languages, 2 lines is a bit messy, and this way is much, much cleaner. And the last thing I want to show you about this app is that you can click on any word,
Preciosa.
and it gives you not only the audio, the voice, but also example sentences and translations. Mhm. So it is really a
Es
fantastic,
una
fantastic
fantástica.
resource. In our Spanish Kit, you have the direct link to this tool, among many other resources, and it's completely free. Again, you can find the link in the description of the video. So now that you know about it, maybe you can go and download it and give it a try with the following section of this lesson, where I'm going to be speaking just in Spanish about some cultural facts around the family structure in Spain. Okay, so let's have a listen. En España distinguimos entre la familia de sangre y la familia política. Familia de sangre, pues es tu hijo o tus padres, es la familia más directa. Y la familia política es la familia de tu pareja. Por ejemplo, tu cuñado, tu suegra, tu suegro. Esto es la familia política. ¿Mm? Hemos hablado de divorcios antes, de los divorciados. Bueno, como curiosidad, en España, por cada 1000 personas hay 2,1 divorcios. ¿Mm? En Estados Unidos el número es mucho más grande, es casi 3. Y en Reino Unido es un poquito menos, pero es similar. España probablemente está en la media de Europa de divorcios. ¿Mm? Algo más interesante es el tipo de hogar en España. El 21% de los hogares es una pareja sin hijos. Una pareja sin hijos muy, muy frecuente. Y una pareja con 3 o más hijos es muy infrecuente, es muy raro. Es menos del 4% de la población de los hogares son una pareja con 3 o más hijos. Y una madre sola con hijos, desafortunadamente, es bastante frecuente, alrededor del 7-8%, mucho más frecuente que un padre solo con hijos. Esto es muy diferente, ¿no? Ahora con respecto a hace 40 o 50 años. En 1970, el tamaño medio del hogar, el número medio de personas que hay en un hogar era casi de 4. Hoy es 2,53, 2,5. Entonces, los hogares cada vez tienen menos y menos personas. Pero mi estadística favorita es la edad media de emancipación. La emancipación es cuando los hijos se independizan, son independientes. Dicen, papá, mamá, me voy de casa, ya no vivo con vosotros. Y en España esto ocurre muy tarde, muy, muy tarde. De media a los 29 años, casi a los 30 años. El número es solo más alto en Grecia e Italia, en toda Europa. España es de los países con el número más alto. Noruega, Dinamarca es alrededor de los 19 años, 20 años. Entonces esto es un dato curioso. La razón es principalmente económica. En España los jóvenes tienen salarios muy, muy bajos y el precio del alquiler en las grandes ciudades es muy alto, por lo que es muy difícil para un joven emanciparse o independizarse. También hay un poco de una razón cultural, ¿no? En España está más aceptado, quizá la gente es más familiar y vivir con los padres es cómodo, a la gente no le importa, no es tan independiente como en otros países. Were you able to follow along? Maybe using the Language Reactor extension or just Spanish subtitles? I hope you did, and I hope you find some of this information interesting. And we're going to finish this lesson about family members with one activity. Remember, one of the principles in these lessons in Key Spanish is to be proactive, to participate, to use what you are learning. No seas vago. No seas vago. Lazy people, don't be lazy. They are not tolerated here, okay? So you need to practice and use what you're learning. And you are going to do that describing your family. Describe a tu familia. You have learned the words padre, madre, hijo, hija, tío, tía. And in previous lessons, you also learned to talk about age and describe personality, describe appearance. So you are going to give me a short description in the comments. You can write a text and you can make up the names and the information if you are concerned about privacy, of course. But try to give me just some info, how your father's name, your mother's name, what's the age of some of your cousins or children or your grandparents, and a brief description of their character too, to put everything you have been learning so far together. Okay? So tell me a bit about your family down in the comments. That's it for this lesson. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like, dale a me gusta. Es gratis, it's free. And if you don't want to miss out the next lesson in our course for beginners here on YouTube, subscribe to our channel and click that notification bell. I will see you in the next lesson. Soy Alejandro de Key Spanish y nos vemos en clase.